This is the Talk2Much podcast, the interview
We are in
version.
Hey guys,
In here.
This is Swaggy T.
it's Lil Mag.
Kate Gandy _God.
And me and Lil Matt, we're gonna interview K Gandy here. You ready?
Yeah, it's nice to be on set.
Oh, by the way, I told y'all it was coming. We got the camera going, so y'all can get some visuals this time.
I'm saying we're making small steps, baby steps, but you know what? It's one small step for man, one giant leap for Talk2Much.
That's right. Hey,
Wasn't it?
hey,
Yeah.
trust the process.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But so KG,
What's up, man?
what you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm out here in these streets, man. Just living life to the fullest.
So
Not to the fullest, but doing the best I
Why
can.
not to the fullest?
Because I'm not home.
And where is home exactly?
Queens, New York.
Queens. So what are you doing here?
Well, my family moved here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed in New York with my uncle. Eventually, he gave me like the cold shoulder. It was like, yo, look, you got to do it. Because I had a little sister. I have two sisters. But this time, this one was like, I think 1 or 2. My little brother was on the way, which I actually found out when my mom came up here to pick me up. So, I was like, wait a second. My mom gained a little weight, but I realized it's my little brother on the way. But yeah, I came here really for them, for the kids. I love the kids.
And the kids. Where are the kids now?
They're in North Carolina right now.
North Carolina.
Yeah, all of them. My mom, brother, 2 sisters. They out there.
So how does it feel to be away from them here in Murfreesboro and there in North Carolina?
Not gonna lie, it's not too much. It's kind of hard because you know what I'm saying. I only really came here for them. I stayed here after college really for them. So when they left, and I kind of knew they was leaving, but I didn't know because it was like the schedule of it was changing. So I was like, well, let me just do what I can with college. Some ups and downs, but when they left, I had to think about either going back to New York or really kind of cutting the hour drive because 6, I think, from here is a little bit more from New York. But yeah,
A 6-hour drive to where?
North Carolina from here.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's one thing to gas. $20 to get there.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, we gotta be fuel efficient with the cars,
Yeah. But so how does it feel to be not only away from home but away from family? You already pretty much answered the family question, but at the same time you're away from home.
It's depressing. Very, very depressing. Being away from, your little brother and sister, and then being away from the rest of your family, like aunts, uncles, cousins. Because I'm the oldest out of everybody. My mom is the oldest out of her 5, and I'm the firstborn out of, that 5 in general. Then I'm the firstborn in my family. So, not being around anybody kind of takes a toll. You always had the role of you're the first, you got to be this, you got to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're away from everybody. So, you kind of, even though you have your own driving force, you lose that sense like, I did this really because I was put in this position to set an example. But then you kind of lose the fact of you also have to do what you want to do. But you also lose the fact of the example that you're setting. So you kind of have to reiterate to yourself why you're doing things, that people still can see these things that you are doing. And then it comes to the fact of being cut off from other friends and stuff that, you spent a lifetime with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then it's like a disconnect,
Mm-hmm.
You kind of feel like separated from everything. Feel alone in the world. It's kind of a lonely feeling.
What is it like? Was there like a culture shock when you first got here?
Oh, yeah, man. It was. I fell asleep on the way here. So, I remember stopping in Jersey or West Virginia, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up again, and I'm seeing cows and smelling it in the air. I'm like...
Tractors on the road?
Yeah. It was the middle of the night when we got back. But when I think it was maybe shortly after that, I got sick. I was sick for 2 weeks. Couldn't eat anything. Couldn't really drink anything. I was already skinny. I think at the time I was 100 pounds. I was 14, 100 pounds. 5'6".
Mm-hmm.
So that's not very good. I was skin and bones. But that being said, it was a culture shock when I actually started hearing people talk. Even now, I still don't get it. What people were saying. But people talk. It's one phrase was, "What do you know good?" I'm like, wait, what? It kind of threw me for a second. I'm like, what does that mean? So I asked him,
no good.
Yeah, see, it was funny because I asked him 5 or 6 times. If you ever watched the Dave Chappelle thing when he's talking about Little John,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, what? I did that pretty much, like 30 what's, and I'm like, he just changed it. He's like, how you doing? I was like, oh, that's what you meant. But yeah, so it's not my type of scenery. It's a big shock. It's nothing the same. Nothing.
And how long have you been here?
It's 5 years.
5 years. Have you noticed any change in your behavior?
Not really, because when I go home, I see there's like it depends. Like I don't behave like a person in the South still. I'm still a New Yorker to the fullest in my behavior. From other people see where I talk, language, etc. But that being said, like maturity wise, yeah, you know what I'm saying. You learn because I can't be the way I am in New York here because even though I can do what I want in a sense, not to be arrogant, but like people can't feel that. You know, they like Southern hospitality thing is it's turned out to be a real thing. Yeah. So when I walk past somebody and I don't say hi, for some reason before you get to them, they nodding, waving at you, and I'm like, yo, I don't know you. I really don't want to wave, but just because you waved, I'm gonna wave back out of respect, really. So I guess I could say I, in mature sense, in the sense of adapting and understanding how people are different from you and how you know, could come off offensive sometimes. I say I learned about that because when I first got here, I just was nobody talk. I don't want to be talked to. Don't talk to me, etc. But you know, it's changed.
Yeah. To add on to that, you did tell me the other day that you be saying you share a lot now.
Yeah, but now I say you sure. That's because of, you know, my co-hosts. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are very indecisive people. You sure? You know what I'm saying? I gotta be sure. Like, yo, is that what you really mean? Are you sure?
You must mean co-host, not co-host.
Co-host. You know what I'm saying? You know, deflection.
Don't put yourself out there like that. You don't. I'll take one for the team. I'll be a part of it.
Yeah, but I mean,
somebody thinks you're funny. But,
yeah, a lot of jokes I see.
But you mentioned being the eldest in the family or the oldest of your. You have 2 brothers, right?
I have 1 brother, 2 sisters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you feel the pressure of trying to lead by example?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna front. There's a lot of times I could have just said forget college and pursue a job that, you know, I feel like my talent or hookups or there's other opportunities I could have had that just gave me a chance to make money and chill out and live the lifestyle I want to. But if I do that, then, you know, I've already seen from a young age, you know, my little brother and sisters. My sister who's younger than me, her name is Nala. She's 1 year younger than me. She grew up with me, so it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, she's going to be on her own, but she's also going to say, well, if Kuamii did it, or if Kuamii didn't do it, you know what I'm saying, let me put myself there. Then I have the 2 youngest, my little brother and my little sister, who, you know, they, Patrice and Paul, they want to be like me and my other sister. Paul, of course, you know, he's my only brother, so he wants to be like me in every sense that he can. And then my little sister, too, she wants to be like me in every sense of he's the oldest, but she wants to be like my sister as well. But certain footsteps that I have that she didn't take. So I do feel that. I feel a lot. I feel they push me to hang on, you know what I'm saying, through anything. Because if I feel like I let go, then the excuse will be Kuamii let go. You know? I seen at a young age, you know, I do something. Well, Kuamii did it. I'm like, yo, how did you even think of this? You 2 years old. How you mean Kuamii did it? You know what I'm saying? 3 years old. Yeah, Kuamii did this. I'm like, wait a second. How you already using me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if I could set the impression now that you can make it through all your adversities, then I feel like they'll pick up on that.
Is there anything you want to jump in on? Any questions you want to ask? Because I've asked a couple.
Yeah. Okay, you said that you can come off offensive, right? You know, the other day on the podcast, I may have said something that came off the wrong way, right? Yeah. So I said that a lot of people don't like you, which is not what I meant when I said that, okay?
Yeah.
So what I meant is that if people don't, like, sometimes you come off real arrogant or, like, your jokes can be taken the wrong way, but if people don't take the time, I mean, you're super hilarious, but you can come off as an asshole, if we're being honest. If people don't get the chance to, or take the chance to know you or the time to know you, then they miss out on the opportunity of knowing you because you're such a great person. But is it, okay, and then you said if you're quiet and you don't make these jokes, then people always ask you what's wrong. So is it hard to try and please everybody, or do you try and please everybody?
Shoot, I ain't gonna front. Being in Tennessee, I don't get to be myself. You know, I don't get to be myself at all. There's moments where I like to be myself, but I don't like the person that I gotta be to make people around me comfortable sometimes. Like, once you get to know me, you get to see that there's, you know, but then there's that whole other side that people just don't know because they're not in the same, they don't know what it's like. So I could walk into a room and I could be myself, and I'll get the, he's this way. He comes off like this. He comes off like this, and it's like, even though I'm not like an unapproachable person, I guess that's the aura that I just have when I'm not being a joke. So I'll come in the room, crack my jokes. So then it's like, okay, well, he's friendly, despite the way he may look or the way he may seem. So it is hard because I know myself to do it. I don't want to crack jokes all the time, even though like being witty is just easy, but it's annoying. Like, but I don't want people to. I don't want to miss out on opportunities because people find me unapproachable. So walking that thin line is hard because at some point you like it's almost like a person who, I don't know if a good analogy is, but just think of like a meter. You got a meter. If you don't keep on tapping the button to fill up the meter, like if it's some type of game, it'll go all the way down to zero. And when it go down to zero, that's when it's, yeah, he's unapproachable. It is. But then I keep tapping the meter, and it goes too high, and it's like, yo, he's being a little annoying with the jokes. He plays too much. But then to keep it in the middle, people don't understand. Like that's a lot of focus on. Like there's a lot.
Do you feel the need to please everybody though?
I don't feel.
Why can't you just be the way you want to be? Like, why does it bother you if people?
Okay, let me give an example. Right. I used to work at Dollar General. Some lady came in there. Now, normally customers, as you know, in retail is toughest job sometimes. Okay. Well, I decided, I'm like, let me be a little bit more friendly. I'd be friendly to somebody. Turns out that this person's an ambassador at NASA, and she puts me on to a good amount of scholarships that I could have had because I was doing aerospace engineering at the time. So she puts me on to that, and that all came from that one time where I was like, you know what, let me just be nice, right? And then there's the time when I wasn't nice, you know what I'm saying? Or when I was like, you know what, I'm not pleasing anybody. I'm yo, what's up? But I'm not gonna be the person pleaser. And, guy, I met him at work. He, eventually, he spoke to me. He's like, hey man, he's like, why do you always seem like you're a certain kind of way? And I'm like, I explained to him, I'm like, well, I just not, this is the way I am. I don't want to have to keep pushing to be somebody else. And it turns out this guy, I don't remember his name, but he's a pretty educated dude. He put me on a lot of like books to read. He tried to, I guess, help me as far as education. But it was like, you see how I lost almost possibility in one situation, and I gained in the other from not pleasing, or not let's say pandering to the crowd, or just being myself. So it's hard. I don't feel the need to please everybody, but sometimes you can miss out.
But why not work on yourself to where yourself can still not necessarily please other people? Just why can't you be nice? Like being nice to people isn't a part of who you are, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's not a part of who I am, but my culture is different from everybody else's culture. Like, it's not rude to walk down the street and not say hi to somebody. Here it is. I'm gonna hold the door, of course. That's a gentleman thing, or that's just a friendly thing to do. Someone sneezes, you say bless you, or what I'm saying, someone needs help, you help them out. A person has a carriage and they're trying to get up some stairs. You might help them carry the baby carriage upstairs. That's stuff to do, but the extra mile that people go in the South is not what I'm used to. What I'm saying? I don't have to say to everybody, have a good day, and I don't see you, or I don't have to wave to everybody walking down the street. And to some people, that could be just enough. You know what I'm saying? You could miss out, or it might not affect you at all, or you might even save yourself. I just know, like, that's just the way I go about it. I do kind of in a sense work on myself, if that's what you was alluding to in the first part. It's just like I said, I can't really get to be myself. So I guess in my quiet hours, I get to be myself, my own thoughts in my head. But when I go home, that's when I really get to see. But yeah.
In what ways do you work on yourself? Or
read books, meditation. Sometimes I take comments people say throughout the day, take them to heart sometimes. See how many people said it, what circumstances they say it. Was it satire? Was it a real conversation that was needed? Is some of it added in? Some of it necessary? Is it unnecessary? Could they have gone about it in a different way? I'll read a book or read books. Malcolm Gladwell. Let's see. I'll do like 48 Laws of Power. Some people don't like that book. Some people do. Or I'll do the 100 books that people read, past readings. To work on myself as a person, to see how life is beyond what I know. And, I apply those. It's not easy. I'm not going to say in front, but maybe eventually, it works. I like reading Thank You for Arguing. Kind of helps you. It kind of makes you come off a certain way because you learn about people, but then you now have these skills that you picked up from this book. But argue with a fool, they don't know who to. So, you know, I apply those principles and stuff that I learned from books and life lessons throughout the day. Yeah.
Trent, you got anything?
Mm-hmm. So what's your major? Your major is journalism, right?
Journalism and then psychology. The psychology part, it's a little, I'm teetering because I did, talk about the double major, but then I'm like teetering because I don't want to prolong my time. But for the most part, it's journalism.
But that wasn't your first major, correct?
No, my first was aerospace engineering.
Yeah. Aerospace engineering to journalism and psychology. How does that work?
Well, I've always been a great writer as far as I've been told. I like psychology. Engineering was something I've always had a passion for. So like I guess I had a talent for writing, and I just had the work ethic to do engineering. But life hits you, and it throws you on a different course, and you're like, well, I don't have a plan B, but I have another version of plan A. So if that makes sense.
Isn't journalism psychology just a little bit more boring than the aerospace one? I mean, you told me you got to fly a plane.
Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I ain't gonna front. It's heartbreaking. I ain't gonna front. I've had my quiet times where I just felt bad, like I messed up. I let life get the best of me. But that plays back to what I said, being the first and everything. As far as I know, I'm the first to pursue engineering in my family. I'm the first to go this far in college, as far as I know. I have an uncle who has, but I don't know his specifics. But being the first, you gotta take some life lessons so that other people can, help you. I didn't have anybody to tell me, uh, this is the way to go about it. By the time I had gave up on engineering, or at least decided to pursue something else for now, I was told to give it more time, but it was already too late. I was like, I got to start with this before I end up with nothing. And yeah, I did. Journalism isn't boring. I like journalism because I get to write, and I see a lot of things that I would like to change if I did journalism on a major scale. But for the most part, I want to sharpen my writing and reading skills with it. So engineering, yeah, it's fun. I want to send somebody to the moon, but I could change the world with a book.
So that's why you got into journalism, to change the world.
That I want to win a Pulitzer Prize. I want to do that in my lifetime. Psychology part, I want to be able to apply that to it. This psychology affects everything. So if I could put those two together, I could write a book, a handbook, manual, biography, autobiography, children's stories, short stories, and I could potentially change the world. But that's like J. Cole said in one of my favorite songs, I could heal the world if I'm speaking honestly. You know, and you could put a comment in there, speaking honestly, or just speaking honestly. Either way, you can change the world with your words.
That is true. Psychology major. Do you think your psychology class has helped you understand people a little bit better?
Yeah, I'm not gonna front. It does, cause man, let me tell you, people, man. A lot of the maturity comes from a little bit from psychology. You get to learn people for what they really are. You get to learn how they think outside of you. You get to help people who need help but don't know how to get help. And I'm not gonna sit and say I diagnose people. I don't do that. But in today's age, man, where you gotta everybody doing self-diagnosis of depression and mental illness, and they don't actually know how to get the help. You could say, all right, look, not to put them on blast, but you like, look, that's not that. Or someone that really is, you like, look, it helps your skills because sometimes you could say something to somebody, and their therapist or psychiatrist could be like teaching them the complete opposite, which actually helps. And you come in and you don't know what you're talking about, and you throw that whole thing off because you're closer to them. You just ruined everything. You know what I'm saying? So being a little bit more knowledgeable helps.
Humans are complicated creatures, man. They're complicated creatures.
Yeah, as a Hamlet, I forgot who said it. What a piece of work is man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good quote. Good quote.
Is there anything like in psychology class that's like shocked you? Like, oh, I didn't know this. Like I behave this way because this is going on in my mind or something like that.
Yeah. There's like last semester I took abnormal psychology, which is mental illnesses, disorders with the brain. The one thing that stuck out, antisocial. Oh man, everybody thinks just because they don't talk to somebody they're antisocial.
Yeah.
But then he explains what antisocial is, and he's like, "Yo, antisocial people are borderline. Like they are dangerous people.
Mm-hmm.
Antisocial isn't. I'm not talking to nobody. Antisocial is I want this. I'm gonna go get it, no matter who I hurt, who's affected. Uh, I don't care the consequences. You know what I'm saying? I don't anything with social norms I'm out of line with. But if I see in that house right now a piece of candy, I'm gonna break in there and get it. I may end up in jail, but so what? You know what I'm saying? And then like I say that to say how it helps me realize that what I'm saying or people are saying isn't what it is. You have the wrong idea about it. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe my thinking is different. Maybe my thinking is wrong. I gotta change the way I think. So yeah, it has helped out a lot.
Okay. So you are 22 years old now.
Yeah, man.
Are you where you thought you'd be at this point? Like your goals in life. Do you feel like you're reaching those goals or have reached some of those goals?
I don't think I've reached any goals.
You haven't.
No, I don't think I've really done anything significant, to be honest.
Why do you feel that way?
I mean, let's see. Aerospace engineering, I gave up on that. I remember being like 7 years old and using, like, you know how back in the day, they used to give you the magazines and you fill it out, you mail it in, you get more magazines in the mail. Now I was getting a bill, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, they kept sending it to the house and I was getting a bill for it, but they kept sending it and it was Discover magazine. I'm getting engineering stuff. That didn't work out.
But you did accomplish a few things. Like you got to fly a plane. That's accomplishing something. I don't.
That wasn't something I wanted to do, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
So
really.
it's not. So it wasn't a goal.
No.
You accomplished it, but it wasn't a goal.
Yeah. So I've done something, but it wasn't a goal. Or let's see. When I was in New York, because I ended up moving here in high school, I'm supposed to graduate with a Regents honors degree. I forgot what it's called. We have Regents in New York. It's like a major test that you take at the end of your class.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna try and reach that. I was on track with that. I could have graduated honors. Come here, I missed graduating by honors by one class. Let's see. I'm supposed to have graduated this year. I'm not graduating until next year, all because of switching degrees and because of other reasons. But it's like, I don't really feel like I've accomplished as much. I look at it, sometimes I look up and I see people who, I see people passing me, but like, I always feel like I'm behind. Even no matter, like, what someone might just wake up and be better at and have accomplished more, or I've had the leeway to do it, I feel like I've had to work 30 times as hard. And then I'm alone and I'm the first. And I don't have anybody to be like, yo. I mean, I have some people that give me advice, but I don't have anybody that actually have done it to show me. So I feel like I'm learning everything as I go, slower than everybody else. I mean, I hear the whole valuable lessons that you taught from that, but I don't feel like, honestly, that I've accomplished as much or much of anything, really.
Do you feel like it's a detriment to have the mindset like I've accomplished this stuff and I'm doing so good? Do you think it's a good thing to say like I am behind, I haven't accomplished anything? So do you feel like that having that kind of mindset makes you want to work harder?
Well, for the first part, what you said, you feel like it's good to have that idea. Sometimes you gotta be real with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who wake up and done anything, but they'll say, yeah, I've done a lot. And in actuality, they didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be real with yourself. And then there's the part where you're saying, like, second part you say was what, like, to feel like you're going to accomplish things.
Mm-hmm. So to expand upon what I'm saying, a lot of people, like maybe some successful people, feel like they haven't accomplished anything, and I feel like maybe them feeling like they haven't accomplished anything has made them want to work hard and made them more successful. Whereas some people who feel like they've accomplished a lot and like they deserve all the glory and everything, they might not have accomplished as much.
I guess you could have that mentality, but at some point you gotta have something that you would look and say, all right, I stepped here, I make forward. Like, I see you got Dame Dash. I think in one of his things he was like, I'm not sure if it was Dame Dash, but like he says he's buying and selling and buying and selling. He makes a company. It may hit, it may not hit. You know what I'm saying? But either way, he's gonna sell, move forward. You got progress to look at to say, all right, I did this. Now I get to move forward. I don't really have as much, like, I just see missed opportunities that I've just slipped by the grass of my fingers from either my mistakes, the actions of others. But in the end, I'm still the one who has to deal with it. So it doesn't matter whose fault it is or what the case may be. But I think that is important, but you also got to have something that you had as a stepping stone. Like, I made it to here. Now I move forward. And I can say, okay, I accomplished something, or I still got more to do. But if you've been doing something your whole life and you look back and you haven't done any of it, it's like, I did kind of just waste my whole life doing something and never really hit it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you got to have something there to say, all right, I'm progressing with it.
Do you feel like you've missed opportunities just by moving here from New York?
Yeah, I lost a lot. I was supposed to go to specialized high schools in New York. I missed out on an opportunity moving here, but I also stood in my own way. I wanted to enjoy. Those are some hard schools. Like, to as far as I was told, I didn't go because I wanted to take a year and say, all right, I'm gonna do regular high school and live my life. I didn't want to jump into something and be like 4 years of working hard. I wanted to say, okay, let's see what happens, and then end up moving here in high school. So I lost all those opportunities. I wanted to go to Columbia, in New York. Didn't get to do that. I wanted to do a lot of things,
and you could have gotten into Columbia, right?
I could have if on the path that I was in.
That's on another level compared to MTSU.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have just if I would have applied myself, is that thing where you can do bare minimum, you know what I'm saying, and still be doing your bare minimum is just enough to get you to be like, okay, yeah, he's doing all right. That's what it was like, and then, I'm like, okay, I didn't get the chance to say for myself, I'm gonna apply it like this. Let me move forward and let me do the best I can. It was snatched away. Now you gotta look at what you could have did, but you didn't do, and graduate with honors. I had to live with that for the rest of my life. I didn't get to graduate high school with honors. Not just in the sense of moving here. It was just how the move here affected me. Some days you don't want to wake up out of your bed. You're like, I gotta wake up and I'm here still. Like it's real. I'm really here. And then it's like, I look at my brothers and sisters, be like, all right, let me go in here and do the bare minimum because I don't have the energy to give 100% right now. So, yeah, I missed out on a lot of family situations, job opportunities, all that stuff, internships that I could have had, but it's the way life works sometimes.
So you go back home in a few weeks?
Yeah, vacation. Yeah.
So describe the feeling of what you think it will feel like going back home. What's the feeling like usually like when you go back home?
It's anticipation. It's Christmas Eve for me. Christmas Eve when you ain't getting nothing for the last 2 Christmases. You know what I'm saying? But this Christmas, your parents hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So when you go downstairs, you might end up with a new car.
Upstairs.
Downstairs, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that feeling, and it's because I don't get to go home. I don't like the phrase, going home. Home, could refer to somebody as where they're staying at. Home for me is where everything is. You know what I'm saying? For me, what makes me happy, where I feel comfortable at, where I'm feeling peace. I don't get to say, yeah, I'm going to just go home tomorrow. I'll be back the next day because it's 12 hours to get there if I drive. Plane tickets cost money, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't get to say that. So when I actually get to wake up and be like, oh, I get to go. It's like Christmas Eve. And then driving there, I get to reflect and look back and be like, wow, this is my week that I get to take a break and refresh, recharge, do what I got to do now. But yeah, it's a bittersweet feeling because when you leave, or when I leave at least, it's like, whoa, I'm really having to go back here and do this again. Head first, there's no avoiding it, but yeah, it's a great feeling going there.
I feel like we focused on being here as a negative for you, but is there any positives being here?
Well, there are positives, but the reason why I look at it so negative is because it's been so much more negative. There's been positives. Don't get me wrong. Like, I got the podcast. I met you too. I have my own car, which I ain't gonna say here in front. The car is a hit or miss for me because I ain't gonna say in front. I didn't really care much for a car until I moved here, and I was like, oh shoot, I need a car. But let's see, I got my own place. Shoot, I learned how to do it on my own, even though I could say I was already doing that, but I actually got to put it in action a little faster if I did want or didn't want. There are positives, like you're saying. I get to, I guess live a little bit more lavish in a sense, even though it's not what I want. I get to do it still, where other people don't get to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, there are positives. There's not all negatives. One reason I just mentioned the negatives is just due to the questions, so you get a little bit background to, you know. But there are positives. It's just not as many, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So you graduate in what, a year or a year now?
Yeah, it's either, let's see, either 2019 fall or 2020 spring.
You excited?
I am, man. I am very excited. I'm not in front. I am. I feel a little bit winded, like to the end of the race, because to get to that goal, I gotta pack and do everything serious now. You know, a little bit more fast paced than I would like, but yeah, I feel excited.
You know what you want to do as soon as you graduate, or
And like, what you mean, like celebration wise, or when I go back home, or
as far as what you want to do, career